Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get Better, a show about two longtime friends trying their best, growing up, and hopefully getting better. I'm Zach Johnson.
And I'm Sam Cherry.
How are you? Welcome back, everyone, to another week of your weekly antidote to the sad times. I'm going to go ahead and brand us as that now so that we can come out of like this whole thing as like, oh man, that was the revolution that we needed, was those two guys sitting in their bedrooms talking about Justice League.
Sure. What's funny? I was thinking about this today, and I want to circle back to something we said just for clarification. Although I feel like we've been clear on this, I now understand it's not just the flu. I had about 3 episodes of me saying it's just the flu, right? I get it now. I do now. Fully.
Yeah.
I feel like that's come across, but I do now understand it's not just the flu.
I mean, yeah, I think the thing about that is it's like this is the growing up part of the Get Better opener. Like this is the trying their best, growing up, and hopefully getting better. Like, you know, I think that everyone was operating with the knowledge they had at the time, and then it's just like, you know, as long as you're trying to do your best at the time, then like you can't really be judged for like, you know, future Sam can't judge anybody.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, I have another thing that I want to speaking of, okay, so I've gotten a lot of feedback. So I've heard a lot of people, and they come to me, and you know what they say? What do they say? They say talk about Tiger King. And I keep telling them, I say, no, I don't want to talk about Tiger King because I feel like I don't really have anything to say, you know. And they're like, but look, it's so crazy. Look at Joe. He's so weird. Carol Baskin. What about her husband? And I'm like, no, we're not going to talk about Tiger King because I don't feel like I have anything to say that's different. And they're like, what about Jeff? And then the thing in Vegas. And then they call me and they call me and they call me because they're cowards. And and their podcast doesn't. They've already done.
Their podcast does not have the chutzpah, does not have the gall to not talk about Tiger King.
No, to not talk about it because they've started their own mini series about. Oh, that's real. Oops. They've started their own mini series about Tiger King, cowards, and they're like, why don't you also tell me your hot take about Tiger King? And I said no. I won't do it. I won't talk more about Tiger King. Now, I'm not on Facebook, but I understand that they are rebranding Facebook to tigerking.com. And they say, look, it's tigerking.com. Sam, you need to talk about Tiger King on your program, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to talk about Tiger King on the program. Maybe I've seen it, maybe I haven't, and I'm too worried to tell people that I haven't seen it because they'll see me as a social outcast. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is I have courage. And I'm not going to talk about the TV show because that I have seen. I hope that comes across. I have seen it, but I have courage, so I'm not going to talk about the Tiger show like those cowards.
That's super brave of you, honestly.
Yeah. And I have seen it. I think that I was clear on that. I have seen it, and I haven't.
Maybe it's because I don't post anything to my stories, sure. They definitely have not. They have not been saying anything to me. I have not got one thing. Facebook did not change. They have not been messaging me. I did notice that Facebook became tigerking.com, and I just thought I didn't know that was in direct relation to you.
Well, they're trying to because I didn't get logged out of Netflix and forget the password and I saw it and I watched the whole thing and I just want that to be clear to everybody that I'm hip, I'm with it. I understand what everyone's talking about. I know who Carol Baskin is, and I get it. And they need to quit telling me to talk about Tiger King because I could.
Yeah,
I could. You understand that?
Yeah, no, I know.
You understand that I could talk about the show.
Of course. Yeah.
I won't because I'm not a coward. And I won't talk about it because everybody, you get it, you know, you've seen it, you heard it, I've seen it for sure. And so I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. I completely understand. Once again, I know that you can, which makes it like,
because I've seen it.
Yeah. Like if I were to reference anything from it right now, like you would be like, oh my gosh, like totally. But it's like, if we do that, then we give the audience the satisfaction.
Yeah, but don't do that. I would get it.
If I reference like anything from it, even like the fact that like a tiger doesn't become king at the end of the show. Like you
No,
would
yeah,
not
right.
be, you wouldn't be like spoilers because like
Right,
you've seen
right.
it.
I know that I remember that the tiger was gonna be the king. I remember when
Mhm.
they did the beauty pageant for the tiger, and that was the big thing where they were like,
Yeah.
who's gonna be the tiger king? And I remember that moment.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. So it's fine. It's fine. I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. And then there was a panther, and there was like
and
panther versus tiger, and the panther was like from the other school, and it was like the
right.
snooty one, the one
And-
that was like,
Mhm.
you're just a tiger, and I'm a panther. We're like so silky and smooth, and like a jaguar was there too, and normally knew what a jaguar versus a cheetah was, so
yeah.
they had their own side rivalry going on.
And there was the scene where there was the puma, and they thought it was a tiger, and then it started raining, and all the paint came off, and it was a puma, and they said, "You can't be in this. You can't be here. What do you think?"
But
this is?
honestly,
What do you
and I
this
think,
is?"
but I really think that like around like episode like 3 when that did happen, I was really surprised in episode 4 when it was like the puma was not like eaten as it like would have been in any other context, but rather it was like rewarded for its bravery. Like obviously it's not going to win. It's getting kicked out of the competition immediately. But like the other like jungle animals were like, that was actually really cool of you. To like, and honestly, you really put into our minds like how we perceive others, like who's to say that like you're not a tiger in your own heart. And I think that like Katy Perry definitely said that in her song Roar, and I really feel like
I've heard
that's
that
like
for sure.
Yeah, that's like one of the things about like great art is that in moments like Roar, like we're still unpacking the meaning today. Like it's like, what does it mean to roar? I don't remember the other lines to that song because I was gonna say how does it feel to be a plastic bag?
Right.
But
you don't need to say the lines because we both know them, so it doesn't. We already know.
Yeah, we saw them. I didn't do it, but I was gonna get a tattoo of the lyrics of Roar on my hands. But then I was just like,
on the front or the back.
The front and the back. It's a long song. It's a long song with a ton of lyrics to unpack.
That makes sense.
No, but I decided like I'm not going to do it. One, because I'm not going to give, I'm not going to give the audience the satisfaction
Cowards.
Of like, yeah, exactly. Because like then they'll be like, oh, I haven't heard Roar. Let me just read your hands. And I go, no. As a matter of fact, no. Like you're not going to read my hands because like you want me to talk about it or you want me to like break down the lyrics.
Right.
Like.
You
think about it in your like draw your own conclusions from the song, draw your own conclusions from the tiger pageant. Don't rely on us to tell you how to feel. So I didn't end up doing it.
Can I say that I thought that having the judges be sheepdogs was a brave choice. I thought it was a brave choice,
and
but
I think
thought it felt a little behind, a little behind the times. I felt like it was a little,
I think that like, Netflix has that deal with like some of the classic movies that they're trying to like, grab onto, all the ones that like aren't Disney properties.
Yeah.
And hold on just a second. I really think that I'm gonna eat my shoe when I say this. I'm gonna do a quick little fact check to make sure that I didn't in fact say the wrong thing.
It's fine. About halfway through this bit, I realized that this is a my brother and me bit. So, oops.
I don't even know what that is.
I've listened to it, but I haven't. I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't. Who would do that?
Yeah.
Know. So what I got it. We're back. So yeah, like in the sheepdogs thing, I know we're done with it, but I had this thing lined up and I just had to do my real research fact check. So I had to get it done.
That's fine.
Disney is taking over all their stuff. So Netflix is trying to grab onto everything that's not Disney. And so did you know that one of the sheepdog was actually the sheepdog from Babe, from the movie Babe?
Oh shit. They got the sheepdog from Babe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was like one of those, like, kind of like that same thing when Netflix was doing like Fuller House and like all the other reboots. And it was just like, hey, like, they are sheepdogs, but look, it's the sheepdog from Babe. And it's like, what? Yeah. And it's like, everyone's like, whoa, hold on. I thought that was a Disney movie. You can't use a Disney Plus star. And then it's like, obviously this was a Universal picture. Everyone knows that. I didn't have to look it up.
Right. Everyone. Yeah.
So yeah. So they got the they got the sheepdog from Babe, which is pretty cool. Really, really talented sheepdog actress, just to do some judging of her own. So I don't think it wasn't. I will say this: it wasn't progressive having sheepdog there. I recognize that it was not progressive, but it was. I think it served its purpose, and it was to pander. It was to pander to the nostalgia. It was to pander to the audience. So,
well, I'm glad we got that out of the way. I'm glad that we can clear up, and we don't have to talk about it because I have seen it. How are you, Zach?
I'm doing great.
Good.
I baked a chocolate cake this week, and just to get a new skill, I have found a myriad of like YouTube channels that just will give away information for free. I didn't have to do anything. I just looked up chocolate cake, and it was just like, hey, dum-dum, here's like my grandmother's secret recipe. She didn't tell anyone this the entire time she was alive, but you can have it. You can have it for nothing.
I found it on a scroll that was clasped in her hand the moment she died, and when she let it go, and I stole it from her. And now, welcome to my channel. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. This is me in the test kitchen. So I went ahead and I made a chocolate cake, and this week I'm going to learn how to make a cheesecake from the exact same YouTube channel. So I'm doing big things over here, just learning various skills for just parties. I think that's essentially all I can do with that, is like, because I think if you walk in with like a chocolate cake, everyone's like, whoa, that's pretty cool. But if you walk in with a cheesecake, everyone's gonna be like, whoa, like you really went in.
Oh, I
think they're easier because like you don't have to whip as much stuff together. That chocolate cake was a punk to make because you had to like keep putting in like wet and dry ingredients together, and I don't have like a mixer thing, and I'm not like really in the market to buy a mixer. I feel like you have to like prove that you can like have a mixer, like it's like how often are you gonna be making cakes, like right. How I make, like it's like I'm making a cake like once every 3 months. It's like, all right, man, just mix it together like just normal. Like you don't get to have this mixer unless like you're running a commercial kitchen. You don't get to have this mixer. One of the things,
you shouldn't have gotten the double barrel mixer. I think that's
that was a mistake. That was a mistake.
And it has the 4 paddles on it. That I feel like is where you might have gone too far. Oddly enough, they still hand crank, which I think is weird because it feels like if you're hand cranking 2 mixers, you might as well use your arms. But I'm not a professional. I don't know how they work.
Yeah.
But
I think I'm on my way to being a professional. So
you've called the guild and everything. So the bakers. My wife is very good at baking, and so she's all into. She's got the hand mixer. She's got the hand crank. She's in the guild. She's dealing with all of that. I don't. You would have an easier time explaining rocket science.
That's so crazy because that must mean like kind of like what they're doing in the beginning of each of those videos. They do say like, "Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jeffrey. Like messaging you guys or like coming at you guys from a secret location so the guild doesn't find me.
Yeah, our blood is our bond. Yeah,
he does this whole thing because like obviously I'm like a normie. I shouldn't know how to make a chocolate cake, and I certainly shouldn't know that the secret to making a chocolate cake, and I'm gonna become
public enemy number 1.
I'm gonna become a guild target right now. The secret ingredient, and I'm not making this up, is mayonnaise.
Can't be true.
It is true. It is as true as the day is long.
Blood is our oath. I guess that's true.
I put mayonnaise, coffee grounds, and a full bottle of Guinness Extra Stout into a friggin' bowl with eggs and flour, and I put it in the oven, and then not an hour later there was a cake. So I don't know what the science behind that is, but I know that the secret ingredient is mayonnaise, and you know what? I don't care. Put it, man, price tag on my head, like target on my back. I don't care.
Didn't even mix it. You just put a bowl of those wet ingredients into an oven, and somehow
it was kind of like it was kind of like Sims logic, where like you just generally just like kind of walk around grabbing various things from like around your little Sim apartment, and then you put it into the oven, and it's like quesadilla.
You sort of soil yourself, walk around the yard a little bit, talk to a bush. Yeah. The normal.
Do a fiddle battle with death. You know.
Sure.
Normal stuff.
Go to your job as an astronaut because last week your job was scientist, so it's like obviously that's the natural progression of things.
I liked the one where you could have a job that was like a thief. and you could get all the way up to like diamond thief or whatever. And it was like, well, first off, if I'm a diamond thief, why am I living in this 2-bedroom apartment?
Fair.
Like, and second, like, if I go to apply for another job, they're going to be like, whoa, I see there's a big 3-year absence on your resume here. What was that all about? And then you're like in a very well-dressed suit and you have a very, very thin mustache. And I feel like you'd like have some quip prepared for that, you know. You'd say something like investing. I don't know.
Yeah. You're sort of money laundering. Shit. No, don't say that. Don't say money laundering. That's not good.
I was doing a little, and each time I have a pause, I'm stroking my mustache. Sure. I was doing a little mail fraud. Mail fraud and insurance fraud. Those are the two low bar of the crime world. If you're looking to get an entry level crime position, mail fraud and insurance fraud. Those are the two.
Mail fraud is what fucked up my boy from Firefest, right? That's what they got him on.
Maybe.
It was like wire fraud. They got him on wire fraud, and I remember you had to explain to me what wire fraud was.
I think what they got him on, I mean, they must have got him on like something because he's in jail, but I feel like that is just like a wire fraud or like mail fraud is just a fancy way of saying, hey, you hired a documentary crew to non-ironically say your crimes into a microphone that you knew was on. And
I think
like, and you weren't like doing an Andy Kaufman like public stunt or a big prank. You were not doing an episode of Nathan For You. You were like actively doing crimes into a microphone that you knew was on.
That you asked to be there. I think that last scene where he's in the penthouse and he's making the logo or whatever will be the last thing I think about before I die. It is the most confusing couple of minutes I've ever witnessed on a documentary. Including Tiger King, which I've seen, where he's like, this is going to be huge. Make sure you film all of it. Gotta be the weirdest thing because he's currently in the story in trouble for fraud and then asked his friends to come over and film more fraud.
Maybe he thinks, maybe he thought that like, maybe he thought fraud, you know, it might be like, and this is a movie that I haven't seen, so like don't do any jokes about it because I haven't seen this movie.
Got it.
It might be like an Uncut Gems type situation.
I also haven't seen. I mean, I have because I've seen
it. Yeah. Because like you're well aware of, you're a super huge Adam Sandler fan. You love Pixels.
Anyway, Grown Ups 2, Grown Ups 3, Revenge of the Grown Ups. I've seen all of them.
Yeah. So I think that it might be like a gambling thing.
Got it.
Where you're like, oh, if I just do more crimes, then it'll like double back around, and then I will be able to pay for my original crimes.
You'll double down.
Yeah, you'll double down, but then like you win. You only need to win once, and then like you know, you just it's like the thing where I think I'm not a professional gambler, and I'm not a gambler at all. But if I was, I think what I would do is I would just keep screaming double or nothing at every single opportunity. Like if I ever lost, I would just always say double or nothing. The person that I'm
you should try it. Maybe no one's ever tried it before.
The person I'm going up against is, you know, a gentleman with like a white cat and an eye patch.
Yeah.
But I would just keep saying double or nothing. And then somewhere down the road I win. Like statistically it has to happen.
It's like parlay. It's like pirate law. If you yell double or nothing in a casino, they have to do it.
Exactly. And they have to double or nothing. No one can touch their chips. It's just going to be me and the person I lost to.
No.
And then I keep double or nothinging, and then like I have to win. And even if I don't, like theoretically I could be in debt like, you know, $1 billion.
Yeah.
But if I keep doubling or nothinging, eventually I will win. And then it's like a matter of like, do I win like $20 or $20 billion? As long as I keep screaming double or nothing. But then again, there's the problem with that is you have to really be on your game. And I think that you have to like find ways to say it where the other person isn't expecting, because saying double or nothing is kind of hard to say.
Yeah.
And the other person you're going up against, they can also say double or nothing at the exact same time. And then you find yourself in a jinx type situation where if you lose the next one and the person does not say your name, you legally and you physically cannot say anything or you'll get pinched or punched or whatever your jinx rules are.
Sure.
So you can't say anything, and then you cannot double or nothing after that until the person says their name. But they could have collected their chips and be long gone by that point. So you have to, you know, get really creative with how you say double or nothing. You can't just like, you know, say it right off the bat, because you risk the other person getting wise to you and then them saying double or nothing, you know. And then you find yourself in a jinx type situation.
Now wait a minute.
And a TV show I haven't seen is The Jinx, and you might find yourself, I haven't seen that show.
I have.
But I imagine if you keep going down that path, you'll find yourself in a jinx type situation.
Yeah. Where you murder 3 people. For sure. Now, speaking of the jinx, now let's imagine you're Mr. Robert Jinx from the Jinx show. And I don't remember why that show's called that. Anyway, you're the guy from the Jinx show, right? And you do the show and you get interviewed and you're like, I didn't kill those people. But then you're on the microphone and you're like, I for sure killed those people. Mm-hmm. And then the cops come and they're like, we caught you. You say double or nothing.
Oh, no.
We got to let you go. We got to, because it's like, look, all right. Fair enough. You caught me, but double or nothing. Let me kill somebody else. And then if you can, I'll kill 2 more people. And then if you catch me,
that's
double
perfect.
or nothing. You can't send me to jail. You gotta let me do it again.
And if they don't catch you, then they could go to jail for 2 life sentences. Yeah.
Well, no, it's nothing. That's double or nothing.
Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. Yeah, of course.
No, wait a minute. I'm thinking about your plan here. If you say double or nothing, if you lose, you have to double or nothing again, obviously. If you win, you do get not. What about double or double?
Double or double. That's perfect.
Yes.
Where you look at them and you're like, you say to the cops, because, you know, you say double or nothing. But if you've killed 2 people, you're going to find yourself in you might find yourself in a double or double situation where it's like, okay, double or double. That means I have to kill 4 people before you kill 2 people. And whoever does it first doesn't go to jail, and the other person goes to jail for all the murders.
Right. But
next thing you know, you're a police officer. You're fresh out of the academy. Exactly. You're just trying to feed your wife and new baby boy Isaac, and you're looking down the barrel of a quadruple life sentence.
And you've got a friend, and he makes all the funny sounds from the 80s, and he does, and you don't know how he's gonna be a good cop, but he seems nice enough. And
you start thinking to yourself, man, I'm about to have to kill 2 people to get out of this situation, because if I go before a judge and he says like, oh, did you kill 4 people? And he's like, yeah. And he'd say to you, how many people did you kill? And you say none. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Because you're going to jail.
But what if you look at that cop or that judge? You say double or nothing. Now you're on the other side of it.
Now I'm the judge.
Now I'm the judge, and you've got to go arrest 4 people for the murders that Mr. Jinx committed. Double or nothing.
It's the perfect way to get out of anything.
It's the perfect crime. So I'm glad you're doing well.
Mm-hmm.
We're still here.
Okay.
Losing our minds and watching a lot of TV. We finished the
main
seasons.
What are we watching? What are we reading?
Well, we finished the main seasons of Steven Universe. We're going to finish the remainder of it this weekend, like the movie and the epilogue series.
Mm-hmm.
And we're watching Community for the first time through, so that's good. That's it, pretty much. A lot of work. I work a lot. So here's the thing. I fiddle. Here's my problem.
Okay. Yeah.
So I want to work on things, and I want to work on new things, but
you fiddle like John Denver,
animation is very technical, and so sometimes I get spooked about doing creative work because I'm like, oh, I want to do a good job, and then I'm like, if I try, everyone's gonna hate me and put me in a barrel and say Baba Booey and throw me off into a river, and that's no good. So I'll just fiddle instead of actually doing real work, and it's like the very technical aspects of it. And then I worry that I don't get anything done. So I've mostly fiddled this week. I'm trying to work on an animation, and instead of really just going for it and like drawing something, I'm just sort of fiddling for a week, which is not creatively satisfying, but it's where I've been. So that I'm trying not to do that. And that's pretty much been my whole week, is doing this one drawing over and over and over again, and I don't think it's helpful at this point.
Well, you have a creative outlet with like doing drawings and doing animations for the show at least. So that's like a once a week project.
That's true. That is very fun. Also, I've been listening to the Flaming Lips a lot.
Ooh, the Flaming Lips. Now, just to kind of undo the show the man behind the curtain for just a moment.
Open the kimono.
Open the kimono, as it were. What's that James Bond movie where he's wearing a kimono and it's really offensive?
I don't know, but I have to see it now.
There's this episode of James Bond where he dresses up as an Asian man, and they do makeup to his face to make him look like an Asian man, and it is horrifying. And it is like a Sean Connery original, like the one that everyone loves. And let's see, I think it has like
kimono. I got Komodo, kimono.
Ooh, okay. It's James Bond. You only live twice.
Oh, I see it. I'm here. I found the. Ooh.
Yeah, it's not great.
Not great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent you a series of really insane text messages about the Flaming Lips. Previous.
Yeah. And the thing about this really offensive like interpretation of like someone that's, like doing like a yellow face, as it were, is it's not even good. It's just they make his eyebrows really big. Like, what is that? It's like,
who would be confused about whether or not
exactly
this is a white man?
like you just see him and go like, oh, that's a really specific haircut and specific eyebrow, and you're very clearly talking in like a British accent. And it wouldn't be like, whoa, like, who is this new off the streets guy we got? It's like, oh, who is this very clearly spy or a narc? Who is this guy that's going to bust me for selling drugs or whatever those movies are about?
There is I can never follow a James Bond movie. Honestly, I can't get into them because, no, jokes aside, I have absolutely no idea what the plot of any James Bond movie is. It's just like guns, cars, kissing girls, guns. Kind of, movie's over.
I'll say this about James Bond, and friggin' at me, one Zach Johnson, the best James Bond movie, the one that everyone's like heralding all the time, like the gold standard, is Goldfinger.
Sure.
And Goldfinger involves this absolutely bonkers plotline where James Bond gets captured, and then he busts himself out of this like makeshift jail that the guy has, and instead of the bad guy Goldfinger, instead of him going like, okay, cool, I'm gonna kill you now, I'm gonna kill you, he like hangs out with him the rest of the movie and like gets him drinks, and then like they're like every single line of like dialogue the villain has is with James Bond. They're like hanging out, they're like drinking mimosas, just hanging out, like being buddies, and it is the wildest thing. And then at the end of the movie, when like they're fighting each other, it doesn't ring off as like these two bad guys fighting each other. It's like these two like college friends getting into a little like skiffle. It's a wild movie. It's not good. And I think they dislike it because James Bond says cool things,
Right. It's all the guns and the cars and the kissing girls part.
Yeah, but there's like barely any. It's not like, it's at least the early ones, but then again, it's the 60s, so I can't judge it by like their content, but like most of it's just like really, really slow. It's like kind of slow and boring, and nothing like the Fast and Furious movies, which are fast and exciting and amazing.
Of course. I've only seen Casino Royale, and I've seen it several times. So I've told you, of course, that we had HBO growing up, and they basically buy.
Okay, whoa! Didn't know this was a podcast about how good you're doing.
Whoa, flex! No, I don't know how this happened, but we got HBO and Showtime for free for years, and I don't. This is before like passwords for your cable. I don't know how we got these. I think it just never went away. Because one day it did just go away, and I don't really know what happened. But for some reason, like for years and years, we just had HBO, and my family was like, I don't know. We don't pay for it. It just comes into our house. And then one day it went away. You read into that whatever you want. Maybe there's some sort of double or nothing situation that's happening with where they were like, you're stealing HBO, and they're like, double or nothing. Like, all right, here's Showtime. I have no idea. Jokes aside, I have no idea why we had these two, because we weren't paying for them. We just had them. Anyway, they buy about 2 movies a month, and so there's several movies that I've just seen 150 times because they were just always on. They would just play them basically on loop. So like, I forgot what movie we were talking about. Oh, Casino Royale. So like, Casino Royale, Accepted, that movie about a fake college. The Devil Wears Prada. And a variety of other movies I've just seen over and over and over and over and over again. I have no idea what happens in the plot of Casino. I might have seen it 9 times. I have no idea what happens in the movie. It is an incomprehensible plot. He just he needs to win a poker tournament.
Yes.
To something. He's at like, my only reference point is like, he's at an embassy and it's like a Benghazi thing, but before Benghazi, I think. And like there's a terrorist attack at an embassy, and then he runs on top of a crane, and then he talks to Q, and they're like,
I don't even think Q's in that movie.
Who knows? They're like, you need to win this poker tournament. And he's like, okay. And he's like, when the guy gets stressed, his eyes bleed, and it's like, okay. And then he kisses a girl, and then he kills a guy, and then they shower. She's in the shower because she got blood on her and she's not happy with it. And then they win the poker tournament, and then the movie's basically over. He gets this is my honest this is just what I remember of the movie. He gets captured and tortured for like a minute, and then you think the movie's over, but then there's like a whole 30 more minutes where he's on an island, and then it gets very confusing where now he's got to go do some other shit. And then I think his girlfriend dies in an underwater elevator, and then it's over. It's a very confusing movie, and I've seen it a bunch of times.
I'm trying to think because I remember vivid like pictures and like things from that. But yeah, I guess I can never piece together why the things were happening the way they were happening. All I know is in that film series, like James Bond like retires every single movie. He's like, I'm out of the game,
right?
And
it's like
then it really is like it's like they use that like 80s cop mantra sort of thing where it's like, I'm out of the game, and it's like, damn it, Bond, you're the best we have on the force. And it's like, fine, I'm back in the game.
One last job. It's like a Magic Eye poster, but for a plot of a movie where you think like, no, if I just look at it, it'll make sense. And it's not ever gonna come into focus where you actually like understand what's happening in the movie. And some people stare at it and they're like, no, it's a sailboat. I'm like, dude, I don't know. I've been looking at this Magic Eye poster in a thrift shop for 3.5 hours, and I don't see your sailboat. I'm not going to buy this $3 sailboat from you.
Oh, wait, hold on. This is Bob Marley. Oh, I get it now.
Oh, see, I never get to see Bob Marley, and so I'm looking at Casino Royale like, where's the Bob Marley? And I can't find it. Like, I can't find the Bob Marley in that movie. It's just like, I don't know. Now he's shooting guns and driving a car, and he's got like a defibrillator in his car.
Yeah, that part was weird.
Poisoned.
Yeah, like... Yeah.
What the fuck happens in that movie? Anyway, I don't want to...
Yeah, now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I really don't know what's happening.
I don't know what happens in Casino Royale, and I've seen it a bunch of times. I don't know why he needs to win the poker tournament. I think they're trying to smuggle money. I have no idea. I honestly,
I'm looking at some of the accolades here, and for the year of 2006, this was in several people's like top 10 lists, like of the year.
It's cool. I just think not even that it's incomprehensible. I'm just stupid. I just have no idea. I have no idea what happens in the movie. I mean, I can tell you all the plot points. I did. Like, here are all the set pieces, but I don't know why they're connected or how they're connected at all. And I've seen it. Don't know what happens in the movie.
Huh. Yeah, now thinking about it, I know what's happening there. Anyway, the Flaming Lips.
The Flaming Lips.
So Sam and I talked before this, and he asked me if I knew about the Flaming Lips, and I know like 2 songs by the Flaming Lips. I know the Do You Realize? Sure. And I know the Yeah 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 song.
Perfect.
And then Sam was like, oh, do you think of the Flaming Lips? And I was like, oh, no, I don't really know them. And Sam reminded me that in a graduation talk, my senior year of college, where Sam was in attendance, I quoted the Flaming Lips.
You did? I thought you were a super fan.
No, I guess it's the quote I have is from the Yeah 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 song, and I guess I was just trying to be cool.
They're a cool band. Because I remember. So here's the thing. I wouldn't say I've gotten very into the Flaming Lips at this point because they've got like 45 albums. they've been making music since 1983, and they like came out with an album last year. It's wild.
They're like the Mountain Goats of. I guess they're like the Mountain Goats.
They're like the Mountain Goats. Yeah, they're just like the Mountain Goats. So I'm getting really into the Flaming Lips, but I got into it. This is interesting to me. I don't think it's interesting for a podcast, but I might as well explain to you why I wanted to talk about the Flaming Lips, even though I don't think this is a good topic. I like the show Portlandia.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching an episode, and they go to a music festival, and the Flaming Lips are in the episode. And there's this whole B plot where the band is split up, and there's one band called Flaming Lips and another band called The Flaming Lips, and it's just all the people from the band. And anyway, the comedy ensues. You get it. There's VR. It's great. It's a good show.
Oh my gosh, I thought the Flaming Lips broke up. You're right. They've been coming out with albums consistently.
Well,
man, they are, geez Louise.
Maybe you just remember that episode of Portlandia.
Maybe. Man, they have not skipped a beat.
But anyway, at the end, they play the song Do You Realize? And I was like, and they've got, I don't know what their live performances are like, again, except for this episode. But
apparently they're bonkers.
Right. They've got all the like paper mache hands and streamers. So I saw it and was like, what is this band? Months go by. And I remember, I was like, I remember liking that song. What was that song? Then I just started listening to that album, Yoshima Battles the Pink Robots.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of the album. Yoshima Battles the Pink Robots or something like that. You'll find it if you look it up. It's been my quarantine album because it more or less is an album about, the world falling apart, but maybe it's okay. And so I've just been listening to it just kind of on repeat of just like, hey, yeah, times are scary, but it'll be fine. And so I've just been listening to it a bunch, and I like it a lot. I mean, I've been listening to them more than just quarantine, but recently, specifically, this album a lot. And then now I'm like branching into the rest of their discography. What I find interesting is these moments where a show or a person or a subculture, these moments when a whole world of culture gets like exposed to you, like culture guides. What I think is interesting, because I know like a ton of my pop culture personality is based on marathons of I Love the 80s on VH1.
Yeah.
There's so many things where it's like, oh yeah, that movie. And it's like, how have you seen that movie? When I'm talking to older people, they'll say, reference some shit or whatever, and I'm just like, oh yeah, the thing da da da. And they're like, how do you know what that is? I'm like, oh, I Love the 80s on VH1. Like I wasn't there when that happened. I don't remember. Yeah.
Quick sidebar. The other day I was in a conversation with this guy, and he made a reference to the Supremes, and then I was like, oh yeah, the Supremes. Da, da, da. And then I was talking about it. He said, how do you know the Supremes? And it took everything in my being to go, what? Like the Supremes, like the super incredibly popular band, like the group from the 1970s. Yeah.
How do you know the Supremes, guy?
Like, I was like, yeah. Like, it's just like at any point be like, yeah, Elvis Presley. It's like, oh, hold on, you know about Elvis Presley? And I was like, what?
Well, because, and again, hopefully, much like your landlord, this doesn't become someone that we talk about and then they're like a fixture in your life. But what he's saying by that is, I'm cool enough to know who this, or not even cool, just like I know enough to know who the Supremes are because I brought it up. But you're not cool enough to know who the Supremes are. It's like,
yeah, and it was
wrong with you? Like,
it was very much like that gatekeeping mentality of like, let me tell you some young blood, and it's like, I don't know that.
The way people know things, like it's different when it's like it's different when it's an older person and it's something from their childhood, because it's like, well, you know it because you were alive. I wasn't alive, so I understand the question of like, how do I know about?
Yeah, I get that. It's like, you know who Fugazi is because you were a punk kid in the 1970s, like in New York City. It's like, I have no business knowing who Fugazi is. Like, that's correct. That's a correct assumption.
But if it's like, if we're the same age, it's like, I know things the way you know things. Yeah. It's like we listen to the same fucking, New York Times podcast about blah blah blah, and that's how we both heard the same dumb fact about blah
exactly
blah blah.
Yeah, we know who Michael Barbaro is, like,
right, yeah, exactly, like we both listen to the Daily, so we both know this thing. Like, it's fine that you know it, but it's if it's fine that you know it, it's also fine that I know it. Anyway, I don't know who this person is who's saying this, but I think those things are interesting. The reason I didn't want to talk about it because I felt like it was self-aggrandizing to be like, how did I get so interesting? Because that's basically what I was like. Oh, this is what this topic is going to become. Is like, how did I learn all the stuff I know? Which I don't want to do. Also, I listened back to last episode and I felt like I came across poorly. And I am trying to not. Oh, damn! I just did it though. I'm trying to not be like, this is their problem and here's why they're stupid. Because that guy sucks, right? Like, I don't want to be that guy, but I am. And that's difficult for me to grok because it just is. But I don't want to be. So I'm trying not to give large sweeping statements about why other people are wrong. But I'm slowly running out of things to say. So
we should have like a little like tone music that happens if you're ever editing the podcast and you think that happens, and then we have like a little like let's all go to the lobby style song, but it's just like a song about how it's like Sam talks about how interesting he is and looks down at other people, and it's just like a little song, and then it would pop back in and you would say like that what you just said is like, I'm running out of things to say, but I don't know, like something like that.
Just, I feel like most of it.
If you want to continue to censor yourself, if you want to be that kind of person, that kind of podcast host,
I want to be a good person, and that is increasingly difficult. So that's where I'm at. But anyway, the Flaming Lips is a good band that I like, and I think it's interesting to me that I found this show from Portlandia. And like a lot of things of just like, does this make sense? Is this anything?
Mm-hmm. I still the way I found cool music when I was growing up was from commercials, and I would like listen to the commercial or the movie trailer, and then I would listen to their other songs, and then act like I didn't know that one song that was from the trailer, or act like I'd known about it for a long time.
One time I heard a Fratelli song on an MTV ad, and I lost. No, the other one, but I'd lost my mind. I was just like, that's Chelsea Dagger. I know that song. Wait, that's my song. I know that song. It can't be on MTV. I know that one.
This is a moment of like just, I think, very big vulnerability for me, but I feel like it's something that everyone did. I would wake up really early on school days and I would watch VH1's First Start, where they would play kind of like indie music, like kind of up and coming bands, and they would always play their music videos, and then the songs that I liked, I would look them up and then I would download them on LimeWire like immediately. And then I would be like, oh yeah, like Los Campesinos and like Johnny Foreigner and like Does It Offend You? Yeah. No, I've known about them for a very long time when I heard about them that morning.
Okay, here's what's wild. I feel like growing up, I had more outlets to, and maybe like culture is just becoming homogenous. See, this is where I stop. See, I don't do that.
Oh no.
No, wait, hold on. Hold on.
Whoa there, Sparky.
Pause. But nope, done with that. But also the thing I was going to say, I feel like there were so many more outlets to cool stuff that I don't have anymore. Like when I was growing up, I would just be on the internet and like, I don't know what this website was. It was post Napster.
Malono.
No. It was just a streaming. It was like a proto streaming website where it was just a website that you could search individual songs and people uploaded individual tracks. So it was like the gap between LimeWire and Spotify, where people just upload the individual tracks and you could listen to the songs. I remember this distinctly.
Grooveshark?
Grooveshark.
Is that it?
It is Grooveshark.
Oh my gosh. I reached through my microphone and pulled that out of your brain.
Yes, it was Grooveshark. They got, if you get on their website now, they have been shut down and they have like an apology of like, we committed crimes. They didn't say double jeopardy, those idiots. And so they're fully shut down. But anyway, I would get on Grooveshark and here's what I remember is listening to lots of bands that I still like on Grooveshark. But what escapes me is how I found these bands.
Yeah.
Like, how did I know about any music? How did I know about anything? Like,
That's true.
I
Because
feel
I feel like I haven't found a new band in forever. Like they're kind of like, I have coworkers who are like in the Gen Z sort of like era, and they're the ones that are introducing me to music. They're constantly like showing me like new tracks, and I'm just like, how did you find out about this? Like how's like I'm still waiting for the Killers to release a new album, and you're like telling me about like this and like how like I notice this a lot with like the TikTok scene. Like if you ever see a TikTok video, it is a song I have never once in my life heard.
Sure.
But every single kid in the universe has heard that song. And it is just like this, like that's how Lil Nas X, the guy that did Old Town Road, he got famous from doing TikTok. And it's like, how did you find him? Like who introduced you to Lil Nas X? And like they find all these, like they're the ones that are finding cool music, and I have to like go to them and just be like, so like what's the cool music nowadays? Because my coworkers introduced me to so many cool bands. Like there's this girl named King Princess who is incredible. There is this one group called Red Hearse, which is a Jack Antonoff solo project, which is incredible. What? Things that you would not have known about. Like Jack Antonoff has another side project outside of Bleachers called Red Hearse. But there you go. You can have that, and I didn't know about that until my little baby Gen Z coworkers are telling me about it. Like they're the ones that are finding cool music, and it's like I'm older than you, and I should know better. Like, where's my cool music?
Right. I used to be with it, but then they changed it. It was. And
yeah.
Now I'm not with it anymore.
But the music they show me, I'm still like with it. You know, it's not like they're showing me like, you know, Skrillex or like some band that I'm just like, this is not for me. Right, it's like all the music they're showing me, I'm like genuinely super into.
Music you would like if you had heard about it first.
Yeah, music I would like had I heard about it first. And I'm just like, they're like, hey, have you heard of Clairo? And I'm like, no. And I listen to Clairo and I'm like, oh, dude, this is rad. Like, how did I not know about this?
Well, you know what's wild is when I was in, Bleachers, that's how that, Fun was like a big band that was famous. And I remember I was driving with some friends going on a canoe trip. I think it's coming together. I think I might know the problem. Okay. So I was going on a canoe trip. Okay, we're good. So I was going on a canoe trip with my friends, and they played "I Want to Get Better," the song for and I was this song, yes, and I was like, oh, that's a cool song. I didn't realize that it would infect my brain and completely consume me, but the song. This is a good song. And then I looked up, and then I listened to now I listen to the album all the time, and it's like, I think what the problem is that we used to have time to hang out with people. And so you just talk about it. Because now I think about it, it's like, well, wait a minute. They just like heard it from somebody or heard it on the radio. And then they told me because we were all hanging out. Okay, so the other thing is, I remember, so have you ever heard the band The Butthole Surfers?
Yes.
Right. I don't think they're as underground as the name would suggest. I think they might be a moderately famous.
Yeah, a relatively well-known. Yeah.
Okay. I heard their song, that I now can't remember, but I think it's like their top hit.
500,000 monthly listeners, so yeah.
There you go. On the NPR station. When I was a kid, because I would listen to the NPR station because it had cool music. There's lots of bands that whatever, I'm not going to go through it, but I can think of like, I remember the first time I heard that song was on NPR driving around. And now I feel like I don't have that avenue. Here's what I'm saying. Here's how this conversation fits into the larger narrative of the show. I feel like I've done a really good job of cutting out content about content. Somehow I found myself in this valley of taste where I'm in like, where I was just consuming garbage. And now I've weeded all that out, a lot of it out. And so now I'm trying to get back to this place where I like found good shit that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm trying to figure out where all that stuff came from.
Yeah.
Like, I listened to the Fratellis every day for a year. And on Groove Shark, I remember specifically listening. I have no idea how I found that band. Like, absolutely no clue how it came to me.
Yeah,
and I want to figure that out.
I distinctly remember the Fratellis being on this old iPod Nano that I had. like back when I was like in like 8th grade or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how did Fratellis get on that? Like who's talking about Fratelli? Like, who's talking about Flathead?
Yeah. I distinctly remember 7th grade, maybe, all the way through high school, listening to this band. Oh, the Flowbots is a band. They're like a weird hippie progressive rap group. They have one song. They have the
Handlebars song.
How do I find that again? I think, is this me realizing I'm getting older? Is this what's happening?
Maybe, but like I don't really know. Like maybe it is because like songs like I think, and it is so easy to say there was like a bigger celebration of weird back then. Like one band that I think that should never have made it was Gym Class Heroes. Like Gym Class Heroes and Flowbots exist in the same frame of my brain, where it's like that was kind of a weird group, right? Like that was a weird sound those guys were like pioneering. And I'll say like, there must be just like the music is just like watered down now, man. But when like, you know, my like 21-year-old coworkers are showing me music, I'm just like, this is rad. Like this is the coolest thing I've heard all week, definitely. And it's like they're pioneering this super cool sound and like they're doing all this really rad stuff. And maybe it's just like I don't know. I don't know how people are finding out about music. I just found out about Dua Lipa the other day. And Dua Lipa. Yeah.
She's way famous.
Yeah, you're right. And then so like someone was like, Dua Lipa. And then I was like, I don't know who that is. And then they were like showing me songs and like showing me like a song by Dua Lipa. And I was just like, I have definitively never heard this song. And then I looked at it and it was like over 1 billion streams. And I was like, I don't know how it happened, but I missed this one. Like this one flew like, and it wasn't even like I was trying to be like, oh yeah, like maybe I've heard it, but I was like listening to it and I was like anything could happen in this song and I would be surprised. Like I have no idea what's coming next. And not only that, like she showed me the album artwork and I was like, I have not seen this album artwork. Like I usually like recognize like I think that album artwork is like a really important part of the like musical process.
Sure.
So oftentimes I'll like remember an artist by like how they present themselves on their like cover art. And they showed me her cover art and I was just like, I don't know who that is. Like I could not point her out in a crowd of two.
I in shuffling all the Flaming Lips music, I'm having a similar experience where I'm just realizing, I've been listening to them for years and had no idea these were all the same band. Like the Yeah 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 song, found out that was Flaming Lips today. Today I found out that was them. I heard it and I was like, I know this song. I didn't know that was them. The Jelly song, turns out that's them too.
Yeah.
Who knew? I just heard all these songs like, yeah, I know this song. Oh, this is all the exact same band that I've just been ignoring for my entire life. I don't
think you're ready for this Jelly. That's actually Beyonce. Or wait, no, that's Destiny's Child.
No, I don't think it's that one.
No, okay.
It's the Tangerines, which I also heard on NPR. What they still make NPR, right? They're still cranking that out.
Yeah, no, they're still NPR and they're still doing that. I think NPR, they're still all songs considered. That's still happening.
Giving out tote bags. I think maybe podcast eclipsed music for me, and there was a trough of years where I just didn't listen to new music, and I like podcast, obviously. But I want to get maybe the music back. I want the music in me.
This is turning into a Disney song.
I'm not sure what to do, but that's where I'm at. All right.
See you bye forever.